Like somebody else is excited to go see his family. Hey? Anybody? This ought to be good on video.
Look who it is. Hey? Look who it is. Look at who it is. Man, the lack of bears. I just can't get over the lack of bears around here for the past handful of years. It's really, really strange. I don't get it. Especially right where I am. Right where I am. Not, I don't know, just a couple hundred yards from here. I don't know, 10 years ago I come up here and see, if you intentionally were looking for bears, you could probably see 14 of them, plus. I haven't seen a bear running around here forever. Remember, you're going to find bear shit absolutely everywhere. I'm not seeing any, and it's been consistently dwindling away. I don't know why. They're definitely not being poisoned, because I'd find the carcasses laying around, the remnants of their fur would be stand out real solid. There's not much wolf sign right now. I know the wolves can clean them up, but it's just really been consistently nosediving, the black bear population around here, whereas typically they're bouncing around like frickin' bunny rabbits, and it's 100% not from human predation. Depredation? It's just not. Should I report it to the wildlife biologists, the government? What for? Trust me, they don't give a shit about black bears. I will guarantee you that one. But I'm taking note of it. Let's see what we got. Alright, what do we got? Mark it as red. First, so I don't read it again. Hey Steve, want to share my encounter. This is the third rewrite, and I just keep sending it to you. Okay? Well, finally got it. Now, I have no doubts these people exist. I hope this story gets read soon. I experienced many forms of fear in life as a Marine and adventurer in the Southwest. The nearest hotspot for Sasquatch activity is the Mormon Lake, about 40 miles away from Flagstaff, Arizona. I've seen activity sign lately. Here is my story. My name is Patrick M. Edgley Jr. Use it to share my encounter. Non-believers, well, son of a bitch, None. All right, that kind of sucks. That's all I got. That's all I was copied and pasted in here. That sucks. I'll have to find it later on. Fuck. All right, R.E. Brazil, the Mato Grosso, etc. Hello, Steve. In my previous email, I forgot to include one detail, which is that the Indian porters who ran away and came back explained in sign language that these monsters in the jungle they were feared were twice the height of the indigenous Indians using their blowpipes, raised in the air vertically to indicate their height. On a separate topic, I live in Gibraltar, where in the Upper Rock Nature Reserve we have 300 resident Barbary apes. These are wild animals. They were probably introduced in the 17th century by sailors, and they have lived and bred here ever since. They are in their own right and enormous tourist attractions that they have no fear of humans and interact freely with visitors and residents alike. They walk and climb on all fours and occasionally do stand up. They are protected and cared for by our government and have their own veterinary surgeon appointed to look after them. They are small primates and are a protected species, and they originate from the Altus Mountains of North Africa. Now here's the interesting thing. Their feet are jointed, and they use their toes to clutch like we use our fingers. Their hands are very human-like. I've watched the Patterson Gimlin film for at least the 200th time. I'm convinced it is real. I've noticed two details about Patty. Patty walks with her front end of her feet slightly raised. I can see this because she kicks up small quantities of sand. The other detail is that Patty swings her arms. When she does so, her fingertips and nails brush against the outside of her thighs, causing the hair to be more sparse than elsewhere. The other feature I've noticed is that the back of Patty's waist looks like the fur you would find on a silverback, a gorillas found in Africa, which I've also seen. I hope you find this interesting. All right, Albert, thanks for sending that in, man. And hopefully the rest of the listeners out there recall you sending us in that email about your father being an adventurer all over South America. Man, I would have loved to talk to him about all that. It would have been frickin' awesome. I think I'm going to switch over to that rock. This log just isn't squared up. This log just isn't squared up to be a good seat. This rock right here is looking really good. There we go. Much better. Mucho better. All right. Titled "The Night I Met Fear, True Fear, Face to Face." Ugh. Steve, I hope this finds you in good health. This is Daniel Lee from Central West Virginia. I sent you the email about me and my little sister's UFO experience. I've had a couple of Sasquatch experiences, and I'm just going to start with my first one. It was the summer of 1988. I was 15 years old, a freshman in high school. My father was a huge high school football fan. I'm the youngest son of his two sons. My brother is 10 years older than I, but he couldn't play sports growing up. See, he was diagnosed at a young age with a bone disease called Osgood-Schlatter. It's a disease where your bones want to be 6'2", and your body says you're only going to be about 5'7", so it crushes your joints. That's sad. That sucks ass. I'm sorry to hear that, man. So I had to take up the slack in my father's name in the sports department. I knew when it was free physical day. Dad would be standing in the hallway at school with his finger out. Look at me and then tell me, "Let's go." I thought, great, nothing like going to a male doctor and getting my balls fondled twice a year since I played football and then wrestling after football. Sorry for getting sidetracked. So that meant no summer for me because I had a full day's practices during summer breaks. I would catch the activity bus at 7 in the morning, and I didn't get off the activity bus until 9:30 at night. With a 50-pound bag of sweaty gear that had to be cleaned every night before I went to sleep. By the end of the hollow, or the bus stop, it's 1.5 miles to the homestead, and I had no problem walking at night and day. That was my time to think about the playbook and how to shave time off the 100-yard dash, even knowing that whenever I would get to the house at almost 10 o'clock with all my gear, knowing Dad would be watching TV and not pick me up. My father beat it into me never to be afraid of no one. And at a soaking wet 120 pounds, there was no one on freshman or junior varsity that I couldn't outrun ever. Coaches loved that. So here I am getting off the bus at 9:30 p.m. I never took a flashlight with me either. This night I stepped off the bus and realized that I couldn't see my hand in front of my face. It was so dark it was hard to keep my balance. So I put one foot on the road and one foot off. Our hollow is in the spot of the worst mine disaster in world history. Number 9 mines. There's still men down there to this day. At the half-mile mark in, they had a huge water reservoir. They ended up having to drain it over all the drownings. This is where the thick woods are. I get to the reservoir and at first I didn't notice it. Crunch, crunch on the other side of the road from me. The road is 10 feet wide. It was 12 feet from me. I thought, well, one of the horses got out, and it was breathing deep and raspy. So me not afraid of anything, I turned to walk straight to the breathing. I stayed at the edge of the road and put my right hand out and snapped my fingers and said, "Come here, boy." It had a male presence. It never moved. So I stepped off the road and snapped my fingers again. Said, "Here, boy." It never moved towards me and it did not retreat, just the deep breathing. I was trying to smell it. A horse has a pasture of grass smell and a cow has a pasture and dairy smell. I couldn't quite put my finger on the smell. So I said, "The hell with you," shrugged my shoulders and started walking again. And the crunching beside me did too. Then I realized that it was walking on 2 feet. So in mid-stride, I stopped my right foot before it hit the road. It did also. I thought, holy shit, it can see me. Instantly, I had a fire start at my feet. And when I got... Instantly, I had a fire start at my feet, and when it got to my head, I was off to the races. My body was completely numb with fear. I could tell I was running because of the way my head was bobbing, and every once in a while, I would feel my bag and my football gear hit me in the small of my back. I kept looking for the light on the porch. When I hit the solid oak front door, I thought I was going to come off the hinges. Of course, my dad jumps off the recliner, pissed that I came to the door the way I did. He says, "What the hell is wrong with you?" I wasn't about to tell him that I just ran from something. I calmly said that you are here on the recliner and can't pick me up so I can get home a little early and clean my gear. To be honest with you, I went to the practice the next morning and never thought about it until I got off the bus and it was just as dark. So I started walking home, and sure as shit, the exact same place I heard it stand up. I swear I looked across the road and said, "Damn it, you again." Instantly I was on fire and off to the races again. Well, this time, I'm going through the door like the devil was behind me. And I did. Of course, Dad's in the recliner. He jumped up ready to beat me to a pulp. So I told him that something's chasing me when I get to the reservoir. And he said, "Well, what is it?" I told him that I had no clue. I can't see it. So he walks over to me and hands me his old trusty flashlight. I smashed it on the hardwood floor and told him, "Don't do that to me, because it might ruin me. And then I will think of you as a liar." I said, "Forget it. I'm going in the morning and turning in my gear." He calmly said, "No, I'll be there to pick you up tomorrow night." And that's all I could think about at practice the next day. Is he going to be there? So the bus pulls into my hollow, and no Dad. But there's a set of brand new bright red 5-speed two-seater. I asked the bus driver to sit there with the bus lights on it. Lo and behold, my dad's yellow company letterhead was taped to the door, and it said, "It doesn't leave the hollow until you have your driver's license. The keys are in the gas cap." I was 15. Steve, that night when I got to the spot, I beat the horn twice for how many times it made me run home. I still do it to this day. Daniel Lee. Oh my God. Thanks, Dan. I hope I read that smooth. I'm getting a little tired and cross-eyed from reading so much. And I got some of that bug spray in my eyeballs. But what a shitty thing to anticipate. You imagine being a kid and knowing you're going to get off that bus in the pitch black and knowing nobody's going to be there and knowing something's in the dark laying there waiting for you to torment the shit out of you. What a shitty thing, man. You know what? The more the honest knowledge gets out, the less these things happen, these experiences between parents and their children or neighbors or whoever, right? Everybody's got to get informed so we can put an end to this these incidents that shouldn't happen. Thanks for signing in, man. Appreciate it. It moves so fast I could barely see it. Hello, Steve. I haven't heard very many stories about what I've seen this last deer season in November 2020, so here it goes. I live in central Arkansas, and this particular hunt takes place near Lake Winona. I've hunted this area for 30 years or more. I can honestly say I know this and many other areas in my state very well. Okay, here's only one of the many strange things me and my son have seen over the years, such as orbs. This is opening season weekend on a Sunday, the second day of the season. Oh yeah, my brother was to hunt with me, and my son had his area a few miles from us. My brother left early to get to where we both seen a few nice bucks in the past, so about an hour before light I gathered my gear and headed out. My brother likes to stay at the truck until he can see. He's not afraid, that is just what he does. Okay, back to me. I found a very old metal stand about a mile in a few weeks earlier. I was determined to hunt it at that day, and I did. So when I finally got to this old stand, it was just about to break daylight. This stand had a chain at the top holding the stand in place and was about 2 inches inside of the tree. So I knew it was there a long time. It was very solid, believe it or not. Okay, I seen nothing for the first few hours, but I constantly had the feeling you get when you can literally, in your mind's eye, see a buck coming from a certain area. So I watched this spot most of the time. It was 9:05, and I was slowly scanning around. For some reason, I turned my head to my left and was looking over my right shoulder. I seen movement. And that's all there is. Shit. I think I remember this. You typed that in the email description, and there's nothing else underneath it. All right, Charlie? So make sure when you read this, send me your email again with the rest of the story, all right? And don't put it in the email description part of the email. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next, all right? All right, what's this one? All right, this was a screenshot sent to me from the comment section. Okay? Listen to this. Oh, this is Richard Becerra again. Hey, Steve, I was on a SOG team in Central America 40 years ago, and I've seen one of these beings before. For your information, my buddy, who is still in the service, told me of a time they were told to mount up and lock and load during winter mountain training because a unit had been wiped out. What wiped out that unit was not human, but something that was not part of the mission. My buddy said they were sent on a seek and destroy mission, and they did. I'm sorry for being so vague, but some things need not be elaborated on due to military security. Enough said, stay safe and continue the great work you're doing. All right, well, that was different, all right. But you know what? If you can, send me an email some more, all right? Email me more if you can. You got my curiosity. We're interested. We want to hear this shit from you, all right? This one's titled Idaho Archery Hunt. Steve, I'm a 53 years old male and an avid bow hunter and outdoorsman. I've hunted the same remote part of Idaho for over 25 years now. We hunt deer, elk, bear, lion, and wolf. One of my hunting buddies is a very accomplished hunter and taxidermist. This is all he does. He spends time in the woods, a lifetime. He had an encounter years ago in a different part of Idaho where a creature would not let him walk any further into a stand of short pines in the snow. Each time he made a move, the creature countered by moving in front of him and screaming. This cat and mouse game went on for quite some time before my friend lost the nerve to try to continue to see and or shoot whatever was doing this to him. He was certain it was a Sasquatch, as he knows of no animal walking on 2 feet and actively relocating in front of him every time he moved, clearly audible by the crunching of snow. Nor could he understand what possibly could have made such loud, vicious, blood-curdling scream. He never hunted that area again. He's convinced they are real. I've been more of a skeptic. One of the areas we hunt we call Jurassic Park. It was remote, isolated, untouched country. It takes about 2 hours to hike into from a logging road, access via 4x4, about a 30-minute drive from our base camp. Years ago, 15 or so, we noticed a teepee type of structure just off the game trail we use as access to hike into the spot to bow hunt. The past year, the structure was located up the mountain some 300 yards. People couldn't have built the original structure without a crane. I own a construction company. It just couldn't be done. The new structure is of similar size and scope. It appears to have been constructed with the original trees plus some new ones. While at a taxidermy show, my buddy told me that he, his son, and another hunting friend of ours came across a fresh footprint last bow season near the location of the teepee. He noticed it first, showed it to the other guys, and they all agreed what they were looking at. He then wiped it out with his boot, and they continued the hunt. So this year, I was curious when they said the teepee was relocated. I saw the originally built structure many times. I've not seen the new location. I did, however, find a footprint myself this year. I'm 6'3" and wear a size 13 boot. My boot is 14 inches long and 5 inches wide. The footprint I saw was an estimated 3 inches longer and twice as wide. What really puzzled me was the big toe splayed out from a stone which was embedded in the ground, clearly visible, with all the other toes clearly visible to the other side of the stone. No bear has a track this big in our area, and even if it was an overlay of a hind or forepaws, the pad between the bear's toes would not allow for clearly visible, elongated toes to be clearly visible. I have no reasonable explanation for this footprint. I've spent time in the woods since I was 5 years old, the past 30 plus years an avid big game bow hunter. No explanation whatsoever. Another group in our hunting camp was 4 miles farther up the decommissioned logging road. I saw my track on about a week or so later. We call this Old Camp Road, as we used to be able to drive up this road and set up our camp there for many years. The Forest Service decommissioned this and many other roads about 8 years ago. They described the footprint they saw as a woman about a size 7, clear as a bell, looking extremely fresh, with great detail visible in the mud. After checking the area, that was all they could find. So I don't have an account to share, but I think they inhabit the area we have hunted for the past 25 plus years. My friend who had the encounter said, "It's cool you're a believer now. You'll recognize more signs now every day that you spend time in the wilderness." Thanks for your YouTube channel. My brother, who is a believer, recently sent me another guy's book. He also turned me on to your channel. For the first time, I'm starting to come to an understanding of the fact these do exist, I believe. Keep up the good work. Happy hunting. Kindest regards, Dave. Okay, man. Thanks, Dave. Thanks for that share. I'm glad you guys are still hunting that area. Obviously, if they were going to harm you, they would have done it a long time ago. Do you find it odd? You know, it's funny. I find it kind of odd for me if how many people have come to terms and accepted the fact these things are real lately, but these same people that are accepting it now also knew about the thousands of people before them who have seen these things. And I find myself really curious as to what it is about what it is about a specific mindset of a specific human being or a group of humans, what it is that enables them to block out and accept these facts just from the eyewitnesses. You know, like we've seen, even that guy, remember that guy that came out to me on his mountain bike a few weeks ago? Same deal. One of his best friends, Renee DeHinden's son. He's talked to, literally, like he said, dozens of people who have seen these things in the community that he trusts, but his mind will not accept it. He will not accept. I gotta see it. Isn't that funny? It's kind of funny. I always wonder how it is that so many human beings will readily not accept thousands and thousands of eyewitness experiences. They just won't accept it. Nope, it's not real. Is it funny? I just find it odd. Maybe somebody can explain that to us sometime. Help us learn about ourselves a little more. Anyways, thanks for that. I'm sure you guys are going to have more experiences, so when they come in, make sure you email them in and share them, all right? Share what you learn here, if you can. Greatly appreciate everybody to share what you learn here. I'm going to try to get as many of these shares done as I can, because I'm disappearing for another 8 days shortly. Will not be around the internet, that's for sure. An unexpected event. Aren't they all? Aren't they all? Especially when we're not informed, honestly. There's many unexplained events, unexpected events. this lifetime. Dear Steve, it's Katie Cohen from Kansas again. First, I'd like to say I saw the video where you shared my email, and I'd like to apologize for the way the beginning of my letter sounded. To my ears, it sounded a little bitchy when I said, "This is the second time I've emailed you." I'd only mentioned that in case you came across the original email, so you wouldn't have read it again, since they were nearly identical. It's okay, Katie, trust me. Don't worry about it. You didn't sound bitchy at all. Many people emailed the same thing in, and I completely understand where it's coming from, and I don't see any bitchiness in any of it at all myself, alright? Don't worry about it. It's all good. I started typing this last night around 11:30 p.m. June 6th, and I'm typing this on my phone since my laptop is dead, so I apologize for any punctuation errors. I'll try as much as possible not to ramble this time, though I can't promise anything since I've been up for over 30 hours and actually passed out in the middle of typing. Oh my god. You gotta get sleep, alright? Everybody, you gotta get proper sleep. Otherwise, our health starts to deteriorate. I got home somewhere around 10:30, and like I normally tend to do, I sat in my car for a while just going through my phone. I sat in the car for nearly 30 minutes, and I just exited out of my Facebook app when I hear 3 distinct knocks in a good 20-30 yards from my property. I immediately put my phone down, and I looked towards the direction I heard the noise come from. As soon as I did, there were 3 more knocks. The knocking sound was pretty loud, considering all of my windows were up and they were very distinct. I kept looking around to see if I could see anything in the tree line or the railroad on the other side of the street when I heard a single knock. Then about 15 seconds of silence followed by another single knock. At this point, I started to get the feeling of being watched. I've had this feeling before, as I mentioned in my last email, but this time I had 2 different instinctive reactions whirring in my gut. The first was to stay put in the car for a little bit longer, and the second, to grab my things and hightail into my house and lock the deadbolt. Right as I was getting ready to exit the car, I heard 4 knocks in rapid succession, making me go completely still as my eyes looked in the general area they were coming from. And the 4 quick knocks were almost immediately repeated. The feeling to book it inside intensified a little bit more. It stood on my need to stay in my car. Grabbing my phone, I called my mom, hoping she was still awake, so she could at least step out on the front porch until I could get up the stairs. I know my mom believes in the Sabe. She had her own encounter when she was just a kid, but she just laughed at me a bit while saying something about it being about the only show that I've watched about cryptids in the past. Either way, she told me to hang up as she was heading to the front door. The moment she opened the door, I was able to get myself to move, grab my things, and head inside. Even though I was inside, I still had that slightly uneasy feeling, but it wasn't nearly as strong, and had trouble standing in front of the windows for very long as I was getting ready for bed. I never doubted anyone that I've heard on your channel that I had felt what I've been feeling, but until last night I had never experienced it myself from what I can remember. Since I emailed you, I bought your book and I've slowly been reading it when I have the spare time. Maybe I can't talk to my mom, uncle, and papa about telling me or writing down their experiences, but I can send them to you. I know my uncle and papa have had many incidents, especially my uncle, considering he's always out in the countryside. Thank you again for doing what you're doing for the people, and keep fighting the good fight. If you're ever in my area, feel free to look me up. Stay safe. God bless, Katie. Katie, thanks for that. And Katie, thanks for that email. Appreciate it. Appreciate the time you took. And if you want to grill your relatives, your family, for what they have, grill them, push them, bug them. Send them this email video right here. Make them listen to it. And you tell them that I am absolutely curious for the knowledge that they have, and so is everybody else here. And there is literally millions of people watching these videos right here a month. Millions. And they're all coming here uninvited to a wide open door, and they're all welcome. Alright? This doesn't get marketed. This doesn't get pushed. All the people are here for the same reasons. They're curious and they want the answers. And who knows how many people are out there listening that have had experiences and they're not sharing. Just imagine how many people are here in that position right now. I'll guarantee you it far outweighs the amount of people that are sharing. Wouldn't you? Alright, one more. Then I'm out of here. Titled, I'd love to hear it read on your channel. Well, here it comes. Done. Hello, Steve. I'm a long-time believer. I'm also First Nations from northern BC. When I was very young, an elder told us stories. One was about don't cry at night or a big hairy man will come and take you away. When I was a teen, I asked my aunt, who was an RN, respectfully, if she believed in Bigfoot. She said, no, we believe what we want to. Fast forward in my later 20s, and my brother told me to ask the same aunt what happened one day while out scoping. She told me her and her husband, who's also been a guide in the north for years, hiked down a high hill, sat with a rifle and scope, waiting for caribou. If you wait and not move much, they will come in real close. They were not hunting, just out to sea. The sun was going down and the caribou came out and surrounded them. Then it really started getting dark and they started hiking back up. There was a loud scream very close to them and the caribou started running. My aunt said she was almost on her husband's back, hiking back up the hill, trying to get back ASAP. She said the caribou were running in one direction and did a dead L turn into another direction. She said she doesn't know what made them turn so sharp. Something was there to make them do that. They left a trail cam near that area. When they checked, it just showed them and the caribou, though one picture was really steamed up. She believes now. My cousin and different aunt were driving South Highway 37 late at night. They both wanted to use the washroom and were thinking where to stop as they were driving. The headlights hit the back of something tall and black, and it quickly squatted down like a bear, except my cousin said its legs were not like a bear. They looked like kneecaps. That freaked them out, and they didn't stop. Fast forward again a couple years later, around that area, then my cousin and aunt saw that. My girlfriend and I went to a lake where we met my two cousins and their guy friend. I'll call them B and N, female cousins. A as the guy friend. We showed up around 9 p.m. Sunday and were sitting beautifully over the lake. Sun was setting beautifully over the lake. I felt tired and told them I was going to go lay down in my truck. They were sitting around the fire having a few drinks and talking. I opened the window 4 inches to listen as I was laying with my eyes closed. I could hear my girlfriend say, "Stop throwing pebbles at me," referring to me, and said, "Tea isn't." I fell asleep, woke up around 11 p.m. I got up and sat by the fire. Just N is sitting. Everyone else is standing by the lake. N tells me, "While you were sleeping, my girlfriend and B went to use the outhouse a mile away on the other side of the highway." N said the fire started getting low and she could hear sticks breaking around them, where the darkness met the firelight. She asked A to make the fire bigger. He did. The girls came back. N also mentioned when the three of them, girls, went to use the washroom behind B's vehicle, they heard pebbles being thrown at them. B had music playing from her vehicle a couple hours now, and then her battery died. It was dead silence, and we all got a weird feeling of get out of here. I jumped into my truck and jumped B's truck. We were gone quickly. We went home over an hour away from that location. I woke up in the morning talking to my girlfriend. I told her what N told me, and she mentioned the pebbles being thrown, thinking it was me. I said, "No, I heard you say that." We concluded that something was there, something that can throw pebbles from far away and be accurate. Before you think it might have been squirrels throwing pebbles, we heard no squirrels, and the location of the fire was too far for squirrels to throw. Then I remembered a month before this, B's sister and boyfriend are driving the same highway when they parked and were waiting for B and her boyfriend driving behind them. I'll call her S, as S and her boyfriend were sitting in the dark night talking. The truck got hit so hard it made them jump from their seats. S' boyfriend said, "It's your sis and her boyfriend. Man, they're sneak up on us." As he was looking around for some sign of them, the truck light or something, nothing was there. They're out of there so fast. They made it home, got out of the truck. EF seen a huge palm print on the side of the truck above the wheel from the porch light. He took a picture, put both his hands near it to see how big it looked. I seen the picture. You can tell it was a handprint. The fingers went over the back, so the fingers didn't show all the way. Sadly, the picture is gone. I didn't even think to ask him for it or send it. I've never seen a Bigfoot, maybe one day. I have so many stories from people. It's one of my favorite questions to ask. My friends and family know I'm obsessed with Bigfoot. Ever since that experience at the lake, I've been looking online for any story, pictures, and videos. One thing I've noticed about encounters is no one wants to talk about Bigfoot's penis. 50 Years with Bigfoot on YouTube is the only one that talks and goes into detail about genitalia and excrement. This book has so much more information. If you're obsessed like I am, Look this up. No regrets. I found this channel a month ago and love it. The beauty of the wilderness you show and your attitude towards skeptics is great. I wish I could keep telling more stories. A lot of respected people have encounters and no place to tell it. It's clear the government doesn't want the truth out because of the billions of dollars in forestry and mining. Thanks, Steve. Never stop telling the truth. A.T. Quok. Alright, thank you for that email and that share. And I forget what highway you said it was, but I'm guessing you guys are the Taltan band, possibly up north. You mentioned the Caribou. And I'm guessing that's probably where you are. Atlin, or the Taltan band over in Dease Lake, I'm guessing. Where I will be back up there in a couple months. But anyway, thanks for sending it in. Make sure you bug the shit out of your people in your community, alright? Just keep bugging them. But don't do it on a funny tone. Look them square in the eye, square up, and treat them with respect and matter-of-fact tone. And get them to give it up. Get them to give up the goods and share with you what they know, alright? And email me back and share it with the people. It's the only way to learn, obviously. It's the best way to learn. And it's very, very effective, isn't it? Is it not? Don't you guys all think, everyone listening? Isn't it very, very effective? Making this about the people, by the people, and sharing from all the people, word for word. Obviously, it's working. Anyway, gotta get home. Got horses to feed. Plans to move. Oh man, it's gonna be crazy moving. A lot of people are asking me where am I moving to. That doesn't need to be said online. But let me put it this way. I'm moving to a place very rural it's on a dead-end road. It's a farm. There's a couple of rivers in my backyard. A few neighbors live very close to me. I've known all my life. And it's a little bit of a piece of paradise. One of the reasons I'm moving from here is this where I am now has never really quite been home. You know what I mean? It's been a great place. I worked very hard, had a successful business in Whistler for years here. But it's never really that place, you know what I mean? So, and there's way more people here now. Real estate is an absolute ridiculous, insulting joke. I think currently, right now, you can buy a brand new, slap it up, 2x4 and plywood drywall house, 3-bedroom with a garage underneath on the street with your neighbors 12 feet away, with a train track behind you and a schoolyard in front of you. And that's going to cost you over, I think it's $1,300,000 is what they're starting at right now. All of my favorite places to go in the woods, a lot of them have been annihilated from mountain bikers, dirt bikers, logging. Many of the places I used to go and not see a person now, almost all of the closer wildlife migration trails are now basically mountain bike parks. I don't know why you guys the mountain bikers keep doing that. They just keep doing it. Whistler, the community of Whistler itself was a very game-rich wintering valley with high alpine mountains, obviously mountain goats, grizzly bear, moose, everything. And that all got pushed out of there for Whistler, the ski area, right? Fair enough. And then they turned Whistler Mountain into a year-round playground, so wintertime skiing, summertime mountain bike park. But unfortunately, the mountain bike subculture, there's all these people who are intent on leaving their names attached to all these epic mountain bike trails they keep making, and then as a result, I don't think there's too many migration trails that are now not basically mountain bike parks. So anyway, a lot of my favorite places are annihilated. Real estate's nasty. My business, I'm done with the business I had built and started here years back, and it's just time to move on to another chapter. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's a very, very good move, but I will still be here a couple months out of the year, as I normally am up in northern BC. I'll still be all over the place. We're just moving to a very, very cool place, and it's all ours. Nobody can take it from us. But anyway, I'm babbling. I'm hungry. You guys ever notice that once I start getting tired, I really start babbling like a doorknob? Anyway, be safe, everyone. Make sure you guys all stay safe out there. Email it in. Share my story, howtohunt.com. Tell my story, howtohunt.com, and we'll get to it, man. Everybody's going to get hurt.